And so today we're talking about kind of the second half of how God has gifted us to accomplish good things, but also to be good towards one another and to lift each other up from the end of 1 Corinthians chapter 12. So some unfamiliar Bible words and phrases that I just want to recover and then cover again. Body, we talked about last week, it's a metaphor in this chapter for Jesus' community of followers. Just like today in our culture, you might say like a governing body, or a decision-making body, or a board of directors. You consider that like a body. In the same way, that metaphor is used in ancient times as well for communities of followers or different political groups. And so in the Bible, it's talking about Jesus followers, but with the aspect of everyone being equally essential, because you can't just start chopping off parts of your body without feeling the effects. And that's Paul's point. We get into that directly today. And Jesus acts like the head. He provides the direction for this body, this group of followers for him. And then also those followers are animated internally by God's Spirit from within. And so the things that they're empowered to do and say and the ways they're empowered to serve are not just of their own efforts or skill or social status. It's actually God's Spirit who's working, just like our spirits within us empower us. And, we talk to ourselves in our head and get counsel from our spirit, but it's God's Spirit that's directing Jesus followers. We talked about prophecy last week and tried to get a handle on that. We have all kinds of different ideas of what that means from our perspective and our own personal experience. And we looked at the Old Testament and the New Testament. And a good way to kind of summarize that, at least the way that Paul is using it or seems to be in this chapter, is a God-given ability to do several things. One could be explaining hidden or difficult things. So somebody who's got some insight into things that might be beyond the surface with Scripture, or even maybe things that haven't really been revealed or aren't clear. Also somebody who can provide clear instruction, and somebody who gives comfort, but also challenges people when they need challenged, and provides encouragement when they need encouragement. And this is more of a public thing with groups of people or using public speech. And so they're speaking out a lot, maybe in public, to accomplish these kinds of things. That seems to be what this gifting looks like in the church, at least in ancient Corinth. And then we talked about tongues, which the word technically can mean the thing in your mouth that you move around and eat with, or it can also mean languages in ancient Greek. And this seems to be a God-given ability to speak in, or in some cases translate, a variety of human languages. That's how most of the time it happens in Scripture. But the Jewish culture at the time, these ideas were floating around at least, that possibly there were angelic or divine languages. And so we don't know if Paul or the Corinthians had some form of a concept for that or not. And today, certain church denominations would say that's also included in tongues. And other Christian church denominations would say, no, I think it was human languages. And I'll let you kind of decide that, where you think the chips fall on your own. But we're going to get into that more in chapter 14 in a few more weeks. But the idea of this is not someone who's learned languages, someone who has been spiritually gifted and they don't have any prior training. And all of a sudden they just start speaking in a different language that they didn't learn. This was an experience that Jesus' apostles and disciples experienced in Acts to allow people from all these different cultures to hear about the message of Jesus really quickly, so it could spread really quickly throughout the Roman Empire into different people groups and different nationalities.